Hello, welcome to week 2 of the Summer Confidence Challenge. Now, last week we talked about stepping back intentionally and deliberately and not doing so many things by default for the children. And hopefully your children grew into that space in between, but just to be clear as well, these things take time. So you may find that they've done more things independently, you may find they haven't, but again, the success is more in the image we are presenting to our children about them, not so much what they're doing. And this is a slow and steady wins the race process. And this week's theme, building on last week's theme, is to continue that independence and sense of capability that they feel from us by specifically designing and providing opportunities and tasks for our children to really be in the driving seat and feel this sense of capability and trust from us. And we are intentionally going to really sit back and allow them to lead the way and do these things as independently as possible. So some examples of those tasks for independence could be, and this depends on age and actual capability. For example, it might be packing the picnic bag for lunch when you go out, and maybe that's just having a picnic in the garden. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be planning the day's activities. It could be researching where you're going to go. It could be having a look at the weather report and deciding what they're going to wear. These things could be small couple of minutes tasks, and they could be really big tasks. And the idea is that we would do a few of these this week and continue as the summer goes on, so that they're really feeling this, my parents trust me to do a good job with this. Another activity is around food, right? So it could be designing the menu for the whole day or just one meal of the day. It could be finding recipes or designing recipes, writing shopping lists, going to the shop, finding those things. It could even be asking people where those things are in the supermarket. These things could be stretched out to really build that independence and capability. It can also be actually doing the cooking from scratch without you helping. Now, I'm also going to challenge you to add in this additional opportunity. Now, we can't force this bit to happen, but it usually will. And this is when we can see our children are going to do something incorrectly or badly or make a mistake with it. And we usually want to jump in at that moment. Often, like I said last week, because it's less messy or it's quicker, we will point out that error. But I'm going to challenge you to deliberately, very intentionally sit back, if possible, in that moment and allow that error or that mistake, whatever it is, because that's an extra opportunity to learn. So I'll give you a real example from my family. So one school holiday, I said they were completely in charge of dinner and they decided they wanted to cook pizzas. So I think they found a recipe for pizza bases, and it's a really easy one, which just uses Greek yogurt and self-raising flour. And I sat back and I said to them, you're completely in charge. I am going to sit down here on this chair unless you tell me you need me. Giving them that sense of you're completely in charge and I completely trust you. And they did need me. They asked me to turn the oven on and help them put it in, which I did do. But while they were making the dough, I could see that the bowl that they'd taken out and were weighing things in was going to be too small to fit the amount in that they needed for the recipe. And it's really hard because my instinct is to say, girls, that bowl is going to be too small. And I probably by default will do that. And it's something that I really have to watch out for. So in that space, what that allows for is problem solving as well, and tolerating how it feels for something to not go perfectly well. Now, depending on the tasks that you're providing and suggesting your children do, there might be like mistakes that we really don't want them to make. So for example, if they've packed the lunch but they have forgotten drinks and you need to make sure your children have drinks, or they've packed the bag for the day out but there's no sun cream and no sun hats or whatever it is, or if they're older, they've planned the whole day but they haven't thought about parking or whatever it is. So there might be sort of errors that you do kind of need to point out. Now, the ideal with that is that we are trying to do it in a way that allows them to spot and fix the mistakes instead of you pointing out the mistakes. So examples might be, if they were forgetting drinks, you might say, first of all, have you remembered everything? Picture in your head what the picnic would look like. Imagine you're eating it. Is there anything missing? Instead of saying you've forgotten drinks. Or you might say, if they have not got that subtle hint, you might say, oh, what drinks will we have when we're there? Instead of you've forgotten the drinks. So to recap, the focus of this week is to think about a few independence activities that you're going to sort of not set up in terms of prepare, because that's another part. If your children are cooking, actually, can they get out all the stuff themselves? Can they work out what they're going to need? But to think about, and then you would present it and say, I am going to sit down here and you are in charge of and watch them get very excited about that independence and capability, and explicitly say, I'm only going to help you if you tell me you need help, because I trust you to do this. So in your PDF this week, you'll find lots of activities, ideas for independence tasks that kind of roughly get more complex, or might be increasing by age or, capacity. And you'll find space for your own ideas as well, and phrases to help introduce these tasks to your children. I hope they enjoy their independence tasks. Oh, and if they do create a mess, there's another opportunity. So instead of automatically and by default clearing those messes up, you can use the same techniques of questions and statements to encourage them to clear up. So what is your plan for sorting out this spill here? Or which you're going to put away first, the flour or the sugar? Or where do these things go? Let me know if you need help. I hope that all goes really well, and I'll see you in week 3.